What's going on YouTube? JT is Reborn here, and welcome back to another edition of my DC comic book reviews. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Nightwing, issue number 106. This one is written by Tom Taylor for the main storyline. You had another writer for the backup as well. The main artist this time around is Stephen Byrne, Adriano Lucas on colors, and Wes Abbott on letters. And yes, the Nightwing book is continuing, but unfortunately, as the issue begins, we're flashback to, I guess, 2 years ago when we had the whole Rick Grayson fiasco. That's right. Remember Rick Grayson, the storyline that absolutely nobody liked, and even the great Dan Jurgens couldn't salvage it? Well, we get flashbacks to him, and apparently, like, when he was there, he had some package for him, and he gave it to this quartermaster guy. Bia was there. She makes a comeback in this thing, because remember, she was dating Rick Grayson at the time. God, Rick Grayson was so bad. Don't remind me of that storyline. It legitimately was one of the worst things if you were a Nightwing fan. Like, Rick Grayson was just awful. But anyway, so wrote a package down there. He seemingly didn't care what was in it when he could have just kind of examined it. But hey, you know what? It is what it is. Now it's getting brought back again. Now he's living in Blüdhaven. He's living in Titan's Tower with Oracle and then Haley the dog. And then Gar is there as a dog, and he's kind of jumping in his bed as well, which makes things kind of weird. And also Heartless shows up. That's right. The character that... the storyline that never seems to end or get any sort of resolution. At least Heartless is back in this thing. At least he's showcased. I think I've complained about Heartless for about 20 issues right now, because every time it seems like we're going to finally move along with that storyline, it just gets like more subplots and other things get kind of added in. And it's just like, why can't we finish one thing first before moving on to the other? I wouldn't mind this whole Nightwing pirate ship thing, but it never feels like we wrap anything up. It just feels like more things just keep getting added on and added on and added on. And now Heartless is back once again. When are they ever going to end that storyline with this character? I have no idea, because like this character has been going on for like 30 issues right now. 30 issues, and plus we've taken hiatuses right here between the Night Terrors and that. Like there's just been, it never ends with Heartless. He just keeps going on and on and on. But anyways, he steals the heart of the quartermaster. He's got Tony Zuko here. They were looking for something in this whole area, but never found anything. The bodies got taken away by some ambulance, but they didn't recognize. Babs did some facial recognition on it, and there were some people that shouldn't have been there. And so again, he goes off and kind of chases off against these people, and then they end up on some ship, and that's where Bia shows up. So Bia is apparently like some sort of pirate here, which I think actually sounds kind of neat. It makes her a little bit more interesting than she was in the past. Like, hey, look, now she's like some swashbuckler adventure. Okay, that sounds kind of cool and neat, if you will. So at least that left me a little bit intrigued. Like, I mean, on its own, I thought this issue was, totally fine. It had some interesting stuff. I mean, it did remind me of Rick Grayson, so I got to take some points away from that. Just kidding. Or am I? Rick Grayson was just terrible. But hey, it looks like there's going to be doing some more interesting stuff with Bia and her character, because I mean, I don't really remember much about her within that Rick Grayson arc, because like I said, I don't like to think of the whole Rick Grayson thing. But yeah, so there's that. At least Heartless was shown again. I mean, we never even, like, Dick Grayson doesn't seem to be like even caring about that Heartless character out there going on. I mean, they do kind of mention, he's like, oh, it's been kind of overwhelming like with all this stuff going on. But it would be kind of nice if we did finish that Heartless storyline. But based on solicitations, it looks like we're not going to conclude that storyline anytime soon. But then there's also a backup, which I was kind of surprised to read about. It's in the Batgirl's Loft. It's Dick and Cass. It's written by Michael W. Conrad with Serge Acuna as the artist. I like the artwork in this one quite a bit. But anyways, they have these guys who've been following Nightwing because they're going to steal his money. They're like, yeah, we're going to steal money from this guy. And then Dick and Cass were training together. They're making pancakes. Stephanie kind of shows up, and they're still making pancakes. So one guy noticed, like, yo, how many broads is this guy dating? And then it just kind of ends like that. So really not much happens in this thing, but they're at the Batgirl's Loft making pancakes, and Dick's been there, and he's been kind of doing his thing. It looks like they're about to get robbed by something. So there's that, but ultimately, like, it's kind of short, and I think within the backups, like, the next 2 issues, we'll wrap things up, and it'll be a little bit better. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised we're having backups within Nightwing as well. I mean, do we really need backup storylines? I mean, maybe this one will be kind of fun. I mean, it was kind of a harmless couple pages storyline that'll be wrapped up within like the next 2 issues of Nightwing, I suppose, which will probably like add up to like maybe like one single issue storyline of Nightwing. But like I said, it's just him like training with Cass. We showcase her incredible fighting abilities, and they're making pancakes, and they're just kind of living some everyday stuff. So like there's nothing really wrong with it. It's, you know, kind of simple, like nothing too complex. Some people are going to try and rob them, and there's some potential to have some fun kind of comedic bits to it. So like I didn't mind it all that much. It's a short little backup in this thing. My big criticism with the Nightwing book, and well, there's a few that I have. One, you never really feel the stakes in any storyline because everything comes across as a little bit too easy. And two, never really finishing a storyline in some ways. We always feel like we're kind of, like, before we kind of get any momentum in something, it just kind of, like, takes another detour, we build to another subplot or something else along the lines. It feels like when you play a video game and you have, like, 100 side missions in there that you can do, and you're kind of, like working on those as opposed to like the main storyline. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting with this Nightwing book as of like lately. It's like, I mean, Heartless at least showed up in this thing, but I really wish that would be like kind of a driving force. Like, hey, this murderer is still out there. Like, why aren't we really like doing much to kind of stop this guy? It's like we're kind of like going to this thing or the Titans and all that, or we'll have a couple like side detour with the Night Mite or whatever it is, like the you know, the Nightwing Batmite creature, if you will. Like, why aren't we concluding the Heartless storyline? It just feels like it's never ending at this point. And now we're off doing some pirate stuff. At least Heartless showed up in this thing, and there's some, like, you know, tie-ins to that. We also introduced Dick Grayson having a sister, and that really hasn't amounted to much, all things considered. I mean, I don't think we really needed her to be a long-lost sister of Dick Grayson. I don't really feel like that really added much to the overall Nightwing book. She could have just been like an ally. I feel like having her be a sister just kind of makes it a little bit easier for him to kind of get along with her because she is a Zuko. And I think having her actually be a Zuko and then Dick kind of befriending her and like learning to trust her despite his, you know, issues with her father would have been more exciting than just, hey, this character's been around for like 80 years, if you will, and we're just now finding out that he has a long lost sister. So I don't know, like I feel like that should have been something done like maybe years ago if you wanted to. But hey, it is what it is. It's not the worst thing in the world. Like as a standalone, as an issue itself, I thought this one was totally fine. At least they're setting up for some potentially more interesting stuff with Bia's character, which wasn't really present in the Rick Grayson arc, if you will. So there's some potential there, and there is some nice artwork of the Stephen Byrne and the art in the backup. I still like that overall. So like I was totally fine with this issue. There's nothing really insulting or nothing that makes me angry or anything about it. Like there's nothing outright like downright terrible or bad or something like that. It's a perfectly serviceable issue of Nightwing setting up for a pirate themed adventure, which does sound kind of fun. I think I'm just kind of just like it's the fact that we haven't like really like built to a conclusion with Heartless, and it feels like every time we kind of get there, we just get sidetracked again. And I'm just like, can we finish that first before going off on these other things? I probably wouldn't be as upset if it hadn't been like 30 issues into this run and we still haven't concluded like that one storyline that started in the beginning. So yeah. But yeah, like I said, this issue's totally fine. Nothing too bad, nothing too amazing about it, but like it's a totally serviceable issue of Nightwing. It's not going to be something that's going to be like my favorite going forward, but like I said, I think people will get some entertainment value out of it. But yeah, there's at least some good looking artwork, and a Nightwing pirate adventure does sound kind of fun, and the backup is harmless too, so it is what it is, I suppose. But anyways, if you have any thoughts on this particular issue, let me know in the comment section down below. Be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the YouTube channel for more content, hit the bell for notifications, all the other fun stuff. And as always, take care now. Bye-bye then, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.